Camelot 331 here, and something crazy and insane is brewing inside of GameStop. It looks like employee morale has hit an all-time low. Shocking, I know. Who saw that coming? Definitely not me or you, the watcher. But it looks like the employees are kind of talking about starting a nationwide walkout. Yes, a strike. They're going to leave the damn stores and not open these stores on a nationwide scale. That is insane. We have a lot of messages to go through that describe how these people feel. And they're talking about this nationwide walkout. It's crazy as hell. And it looks like we're at that point where even the associates that are ride or die are real pissed about everything that's going on at GameStop. And also, I decided to ask my corporate contact, the one that has let us know everything that has happened thus far, that has come true. I asked him what they do in that situation when there's a nationwide walkout. And his response is going to blow you away. You're going to be flying into outer space after this because his response is going to blow you away. So before we get into it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, doodle. It's really important. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't. So let's get into this spicy nationwide walkout mess. So here it is right here. It says, a serious conversation. I want to have a conversation about employee quality of life and the GameStop store's employee representation nationwide walkout. So here it is. Hi, I've been toiling to write this kind of message many a times from past GameStop questionable actions. Questionable. And now toiling to write under a new unassociated account. I have chosen to write this now as my honest account because to have a transparent conversation about employee quality of life and standing up for the workplace quality and rights needs full transparency. I completely agree. It does need full transparency, but be careful because people might hate you for it. I've been with the company over a span of 8 years, and now the day after a systemic rollout of action plans to attack the red ocean of depreciating small box specialty retail, I am incredibly disappointed and heartbroken seeing my peers, my team, my friends being chewed out for performing with an average accounting measurement of sales and performance. So what he's saying is people are getting chewed out and fired for meeting expectations, which is what everybody should be doing, is trying to meet expectations. But that's not enough at GameStop anymore. You have to exceed them by a giant margin or lose your damn job. That titled leadership of this corporation at many levels continuously attacks store level representatives with the notion of micromanagement and veiled threats of unemployment as a solution to a red ocean business plan. I'm going to explain to you what a red ocean is. So red ocean is doing business in basically shark infested waters. GameStop is demanding more resources out of a market that is completely tapped. So basically you have to exceed expectations by a mile or you get fired. Basically that's what that means. Everybody has to be extremely aggressive, violently aggressive. They go on to say it's disheartening, it's unacceptable, and it's a complete shame to see store leaders and higher accept the status quo of keep up morale and not stand up for yourself, your peers, your team who at a store level continue to be underrepresented and merely a tool of exploitation for this company to achieve top level enrichment and lower level exploitation so corporate level can continue their inflated pay. This, a dialogue to open up discussion of transition, employee advocacy, and mediation. What I've heard and seen over the last 2 days is unacceptable, and the exact attitude and action GameStop got dragged through the mud with COL becoming public knowledge. I know I've seen others voice concern, but I want to channel that concern and frustration into a possible dialogue of action. If all this really just boils down to LOL, just jump ship, then so be it. But let's attempt to enact change and a dialogue for the future. So basically he's saying the way they need to enact change is to form a nationwide walkout, which I'll show you the message soon with the corporate contact I have on how they respond to a nationwide walkout. Right here says, this thread will more likely be deleted, but thank you for starting it. This guy says, thank you for starting this conversation. I've been with the company 6 years myself, from GA to SL. That's a part-time associate all the way to a store manager. And to see this plummet in morale over the past year has been devastating, to say the least. I care a lot about my team and I only want what's best for them, but I can't do that if upper management is literally putting my neck on a chopping block every 5 seconds. Our turnover rate in my district has been staggering as of late. Our DL has been discussing kickstarting this interview process again, but I don't know how to express that the last thing I want to do is bring in new folks in this environment. I am tired. Overall, I love this job. I'd want to stay here, but they're shooting themselves in the foot by making us all crack under pressure. What can we do? How can we organize? This one right here says, this is a throwaway because I genuinely fear repercussions. First, thank you for saying this. I could not resonate with this any more than I do now. I've been with the company over a year, not as long as most here, but in 1 year I've seen my ASL, SL, and myself SGA get threatened with being fired for missing sales at any point. I've been chewed out over the phone by my DL and told that I just don't belong, just for not doing as well on sales as my peers. I've seen morale completely tank amongst everyone, even my SL. Everyone on my team minus GAs have almost been driven to quit over the enormous pressure we're placed under, including my SL. I know others have been harassed by the DL to the point of crying and breaking down. I don't care if anyone else believes this, but it needs to be said. I used to like this job and have fun on occasion as well. I like the people I work with, the customers, well, most of them, and the flexibility with my schedule. But now every time I go to work, I dread being threatened because I'm not quite as up to snuff as my corporate or DL wants. Thanks for speaking out. Just look at how evil this company has become. Everyone is so unhappy. Just a year ago, this subreddit was everybody being all bubbly and crazy, and now everybody wants to die all the time. Look at this one. To be honest as possible, I don't know. When I was a GA, I really didn't interact with my DL. Since becoming a SGA, that has changed, so I'm only so familiar. But my DL is awful. I fully plan to call HR, but I fear HR will ignore it because he does well and I'm one person. You are damn right. That is exactly what HR does. They don't care about the associate. They only care about upper management and basically covering the company's ass. I have some proof that he harasses us, but not enough to amount to anything. Definitely not worth risking my ass over either. I've had bad bosses before in previous jobs. Everybody does, but I've never had one that was so awful that he has driven mass amounts of people to quit or break down. This is a different person than the person I was reading a minute ago. This is a different person. People are breaking down, quitting, crying. How the hell is that legal in a work environment? Just so they can make a buck. Think about that for a minute. This guy responded to this guy talking about HR and said, there's a DL that has been around for a while that I 100% know has HR complaints on him, yet he is still around somehow, which blows my mind. Have someone in store get that many customer complaints and they're gone. A DL gets a complaint constantly in the field from employees still here. This is why I say talk to HR. You never know if your case will be the one that ends it all. Doubt it. From what I've heard, working under him is a nightmare. My interactions have been limited, but the times I have, they weren't the best. I wonder if this is your DL. I know a DL that was there for a long time and still there and probably has a million complaints on him. Has committed all kinds of assaults, verbal assaults, everything possible under the sun, and no one has ever cared. This response right here, I applaud your effort and your heart is in the right place, but I truly don't think any amount of action from the employee side will change anything short of getting those employees fired. Stay tuned. Management doesn't care. Shareholders don't care. As far as corporate is concerned, everybody at store level, managers included, are extremely replaceable. I've had 2 DLs literally wiped out entire stores at a time if they felt the team in place there was beyond retraining. If a walkout really were to be organized, all that would happen is corporate would put out a very firm statement informing that anybody who takes part or supports the movement will no longer be working for the company. Not that I don't agree with your sentiment, I do, but corporate couldn't care less about employee satisfaction when the company is circling the drain. Right here, been here 10 years, I fully support a strike/walkout and demands for a union contract. I hate what this company has sunk to under the past few years of terrible management. They don't listen to customers, they don't listen to employees, and yet they constantly bemoan how bad they have it in their ivory tower while we're left to man stores understaffed at best and alone at worst. This guy says, I would put up more effort if I netted more than $1.60 a raise over the last 5 years. Jesus. So as I said before, I asked my corporate contact, what do they do? What does GameStop do in response to a walkout? Okay, a nationwide walkout of their associates, a strike, if you will. Well, I asked him and he gave me a very quick, swift answer. And we're going to show it to you right now. Hey, I have a question. Does GameStop have a plan in place for things like organized walkouts and such? He responds with, okay, so the plan we have is pretty simple. We will terminate anyone that participates immediately. Even if it was every store in the US, statistically, not everybody would participate in the walkout. So those people, GAs, SGAs, and ASLs, would be promoted overnight. The people that do participate would all lose benefits and gain nothing. He says, I'll be honest, GameStop executives would actually love that to happen. If every store leader in the company walked out, GameStop would save a ton of money moving up other associates at a much lower pay rate. So GameStop's probably hoping for something crazy like that to happen. He says, it is something that has never happened and I don't think it will, but that's the plan. Just term everyone that does it. If it did happen, all the executives would laugh hysterically. Just being honest. So it's exactly as you would think. They're going to fire anybody that takes place in any kind of action like this. If there was a nationwide walkout, they would fire every single person involved and just get somebody else at a very, very low rate, which just goes to show. At a corporate company, you are entirely seen as replaceable. It doesn't matter who you are or how good you are. You're replaceable. They don't give a damn about you. And that's one thing. If you're working at a corporate company, don't think for a second. Just perform how you need to perform. Perform well. And take everything anybody says with a grain of salt that is in a corporate level. Because they don't give a damn about anything. You are just a number. That's just how it is. But maybe we can change that. Maybe we can do something about that by spreading people's stories. So make sure you follow me on Twitter or Instagram and message me directly your story, and we'll talk about it. That is all I have today. Gamestop Associates look to be trying to form some kind of walkout, like a nationwide walkout. My corporate contact says, go ahead. It'll be great because they'll all get fired instantaneously. Because corporate doesn't give a damn about them. So if you like this video, make sure you like it and subscribe. It's very important. And make sure, until next time, get on it. Doggone it. Bye. Yeah.